It's a good song, right? Welcome everybody to my fourth video in my favorite series. It was a little bit hard for me to decide on a favorite Elton John song, but not really. For me, Daniel comes close. I love the song Daniel. It's kind of special to me, but Someone Saved My Life Tonight wins out for me. And I'll tell you the first reason why I love this song. It's because of the line in the song that says, "Thank God my music's still alive."
Thank God my music's still alive.
That jumped out to me a long time ago. I thought, man, what a powerful thing for a songwriter, a singer, piano player to say in a song. It made me want to know what the song was about. It turns out it's a heck of a story. Now, you know that Elton John writes the music to his songs and Bernie Taupin writes the lyric. That's how it always is for them, and it's been a match made in heaven. No different with this song. Elton John recorded Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy as an autobiographical sketch that he and Bernie came up with, so it's about him. And this track is about a dark time in Elton John's life before he had come out as gay, when he was actually engaged to a woman. Her name was Linda Woodrow, and she and Elton and Bernie were living together in an apartment or a flat in England, but he was miserable. Aside from her just being a woman that he was engaged to, I think he wasn't having a very good time with her. There are a few stories told about this, and I'll try to put them all together into one. They didn't run in the same social circles. I don't think they were getting along very well. She had some expensive habits, and Elton John was feeling so trapped by this relationship that he considered killing himself, and he gave a kind of half-hearted attempt. Bernie found him on the floor of their flat with the stove on, so that the gas was on, and Elton John was on the floor, but he had left the windows open, so he wasn't gonna die probably. But after this happened, I think, he and Elton and their friend John Baldry, who they nicknamed Sugar Bear, went out for a drink. And while they were out for a drink, somehow, I think Baldry told Elton John, "What are you doing with this woman? You're miserable, and if you actually marry her, your music's gonna suffer. You got to get out of this." And so by the time he had, a few beers and mulled it over, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. He went home and told Linda that it was over. She was devastated. I actually read that this Linda, who now lives in Texas, was having some trouble recently because she got her hours lessened in COVID-19 times, and Elton John helped her out financially. I don't know if it's true, but I read it. I thought that was kind of cool. So no hard feelings between Linda and Elton, at least not anymore. Bernie Taupin wrote the lyric, as he often does, just diving into the story. And Elton John has this uncanny ability. It's a crazy ability to take the lyric and to turn it into a magical song.
I do. I've heard that you write your songs very, very quickly. And I brought some words along and hope that you can put some music to it. Would you do that?
What is it?
It's the cooking the instructions from my oven.
You and your new oven are capable of great things, but remember, no two ovens are the same. Rather than jumping at the deep end with your brand new oven, don't forget it may differ in its cooking characteristics to your previous model.
Back in these days when they were recording, the band, they were a tight-knit group, and sometimes Bernie would have a whole bunch of lyrics. Elton John would write a song, arrange the song, teach the band, record the song, and sometimes do up to 4 songs a day in the studio. I've heard him say later in life that he'll never have another prolific time like that again. It's a once-in-a-lifetime magical thing that he's so glad he went through. Sometimes in Bernie's lyrics, I think they're a little wild, like even just a little weird or strange. And it always surprises me that Elton John just took the lyric and just wrote music to it, no matter what. It's like he'd never compromised Bernie's artistic integrity at all. I mean, think about Honky Cat. right? Or the lyrics to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, where the dogs of society howl. Sometimes there are just some lyrics that you don't ever hear anybody else write lyrics like that. And there's a few of those in this song as well. The song is in verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro form. And the verse is this part. When I think of those East End lights, the muggy nights, the curtains drawn in the little room downstairs. That all fits beautifully. Nothing weird about the lyric. When it gets to the second verse, I feel like there's a few lyrics that maybe just like, if I would have seen them written, I might have said, really, Bernie, can't we leave this part out or go a different direction? When we get to the bridge. And I would have walked head on into the deep end of the river, clinging to your stocks and bonds, paying your HP demands forever. I had to look it up. HP demands apparently is something called hire pay, HIRE. I think we look at it like lease to own in the United States, where back in the 70s or 60s in England, you could rent household appliances like refrigerators or TVs or whatever and rent them by the week and then eventually own them. She must have had really high HP demand. I'm imagining like a couple TVs back in the 70s, something like that. Anyway, I'm just saying, I might have asked Bernie, we got to bring up the HP demands like that? Nobody's going to know what that means. But I never even thought of it till I look up the lyric. Like, it just flows and it sounds amazing. And I think that's one of the coolest things about Elton John is that he just writes the story. Like, whatever the story is, he'll take you to that place. Like, what's the harm in me looking up about lease to own in the UK in the 70s? Nothing. It brings me way deeper into the story than I would have been otherwise. When I was playing this song for my husband, he kind of says that it sounds like it never resolves. And I get that. And to me, I mean, that's his way of putting it. It kind of sounds unresolved. To me, it was, for a second, I had to think about what key it was in. Because it starts with this A flat over E flat chord. And then it goes to D flat. And you might wonder if D flat is home, because it sounds like home at this point. But this kind of also sounds like home, doesn't it? I don't know. At the beginning, I think it's ambiguous. And then we start again, it kind of sounds like home. Like it sounds like we've gone A flat to D flat, and now D flat's home. Now that is tricky. That's a G flat over B flat. And then we're back to a D flat with an A flat on the bottom. It makes it more ambiguous, and I think unsettled, unresolved, like John was hearing. Then we've got a nice bar of 2/4. This really sounds like D flat, really tricking us now, but it goes to minor. That's one of my favorite parts of the melody, by the way, and chords together. Now here, I mean, if we're going to a B flat major chord and we're in the key of D flat and we're going there so strongly, that's the major 6 chord. That would be like being in the key of C and all of a sudden just bam, going to A. It could happen. But to me, this makes a little more sense to say maybe home is A flat. Because if we're going to land really, really strong on the B flat, I mean, it's the 5 of 5, right? Like E flat's the 5, B flat's the 5 of that, and it's much more common thing to do. Now, if we go to D flat, it seems like the 4 to me. Let's see, what does it say? We've all been crazy lately. I love how that lyric sounds. My friends out there rolling round the basement floor. This is something I'm familiar with. 4 going to maybe sharp 4, but he actually makes it the 5 of 5 again with the D on the bottom. And now we've got the 1 with the 5 on the bottom, kind of like at the beginning, right? But not quite. And then we hit a 5 chord. And it feels like a 5 chord, E flat. It just does at this point. And then when we go to the D flat for the chorus, it feels like 4. Someone saved my life tonight, sugar bear. How about that? Like, that's another really cool thing about the lyric, isn't it? I mean, it just hard on sugar bear. And that was just their friend's nickname. That's it. So what? Elton John says, I'm going to just write it like it's my darling, sugar bear, right? You almost had your hooks in me, didn't you, dear? I love that too. I think he goes, didn't you, dear? Maybe, I don't know, maybe didn't you, dear? Anyway, it would have been hard for me to write, didn't you, dear? I might have thought about it that way. I think it's so cool that Elton John makes that lyric go by so fast. Didn't you, dear? And I also read that Linda, when she heard the song, was heartbroken at these lyrics. You nearly had me roped and tied. You almost had your hooks in me. Whew. Yeah, I'd be heartbroken if it was me too. But you know, when it comes to songs, like, you can't take everything personally, right? Like, or maybe everybody who ever knew Taylor Swift would be in a mental institution by now or something. Really cool lyrics, though. You almost had your hooks in me, didn't you, dear? You nearly had me roped and tied. We're back to this 4 chord. Altar bound, we're on our way to be married. Hypnotized, and here, it's like a sharp 4 chord, diminished. We hear it all the time, like in the blues. Sweet freedom, and we're back to this 1 chord with the 5 on the bottom. Super powerful. It's reining us in. It's about to be resolved. It's what it feels like. Whispered in my ear, but I love it because it doesn't resolve yet. We do it again. You're a butterfly, and this note, this butterfly, it's the sharp 4 of the 4. It's a Lydian sound. It's so dang powerful. And butterflies are free to fly, fly away. And then all of a sudden, to a C chord, bye. And what you might think when you go to this C chord is that it's the 5 of F minor, which is the relative minor of A flat major. Bye, bye. And it would have sounded fine if it did that, but it didn't. Bye, bye. Back to the 4 chord. And then, ooh, the backing vocals come in. Holy moly. We've got Elton John's band. We've got Davy Johnstone, Dee Murray, and Nigel Olsson. All of them singing backing vocals, as they often did for Elton John, and just nailing so many beautiful parts of this song that just would not be the same without vocals. Let's talk about the first time these background vocals come in. And it's one more beer and I don't hear you anymore. Right there, that's the first time, just on the word anymore. It's perfect. I can't really tell you why, but it's perfect. Then we have them come in on woos. And ohs. And ahs. The backing vocals sound fantastic, and I love the way Elton John writes them. Elton John plays piano on this. He also plays Rhodes on this. And I love the role of the Rhodes and the way that Elton complements his own piano playing, just with really mellow sounding background kind of Rhodes. But a Fender Rhodes just warms everything up, doesn't it? Listen to how it sounds.
Someone saved my life tonight, sugar bear.
Elton John also plays a synthesizer pad for strings. And the voice leading that he uses, the orchestration that he uses, it's all amazing and adds to the drama of the song. Oh my gosh, can we talk about the drama of this song? It's epic. It's like 7 minutes long, and they didn't want to make it a single. It was the only single from the album, but it was important enough to him, and I guess he knew that it would be a hit, and it was. I mean, I think it charted number 4 on the Billboard charts, or maybe debuted at number 1. It was a big hit in the United States and England and Canada. It's not, maybe never anymore can you have a 7-minute song that charts like that. But it's because it's epic. You know what else just makes this song completely solidified as my favorite song? Are those bass lines.
Coming in the morning with a truck to take me home.
Dee Murray could play the bass. Listen to some of these fills.
But in my ear, you're a butterfly.
Well, there's plenty of cymbal too.
Never realized
And the tambourine was an excellent choice as well.
walked head on into the deep end of the river.
Percussion's minimal, but when it kicks in with the full drum set, oh my gosh, it kicks in.
I'm strangled by a haunted social scene. Just a pawn.
And can we talk about this snare drum? I don't really know how to talk about snare drums very well, but it sounds fat to me. Deep and fat and just killer.
Save my life tonight, sugar bear.
Davy Johnstone was playing his electric guitar through a Leslie amp also, and that's an amazing sound, as well as acoustic guitar.
Someone saved my life tonight. Someone saved my life tonight.
I've heard Elton John say that with technology, everything gets too complicated and he can't write songs nearly as fast anymore. But back in those days, he and his band, they just picked the instruments they wanted to play, recorded them, laid them down, listened back. Elton John also said something that really resonates with me. I heard him say that being in the studio and listening to what you had imagined, like what you had already envisioned for your song, listening to the way that it sounds when it comes together is one of the most fulfilling moments that he knows. I feel the exact same way. It's maybe my favorite part of being a musician, is hearing your creation come together in the studio after everybody's laid everything down. I want to sing you the part on the end of the second verse that initially drew me to the song because I think it's so powerful. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, damn it, listen to me good. I'm sleeping with myself tonight, saved in time, thank God my music's still alive. That's it for me. To me, that's like maybe the climax of the song. I love it. And, you know, I'm not one to say swear words or whatever, but I just feel that damn it.
Damn it.
Other thing I need to mention is the bass line. Let's just talk about the bass movement because it's really, really good songwriting. We see it in the Beatles, we see it in the Beach Boys, we see it in Elton John, we see it in Stevie Wonder. I've already talked about that. That's an E flat on the bottom. Like I said, it's the 5 of the 1 chord. Now we're gonna lower it a step. Lower it a half step. Lower it another whole step. Lower it a whole step. Lower it again. Then we quit lowering it. But that descending bass line does a world of good for just the underlying feel of the melody and for the verse. Let's talk about the bridge. And I would have walked head on into the deep end of the river, clinging to your stocks and bonds, playing your HP demands forever. This is a part, that's another chord that just doesn't really resolve, and I really, really dig it. They're coming in the morning with a truck to take me home. I think it was a van, and Elton's parents actually came the morning after he made these decisions and took him home for a little bit. And now he alludes to his good friend Long John Baldry, who I guess literally saved his life by telling him to leave that woman and put his music first. Someone saved my life tonight. More unresolved, right? With this E flat over F chord, someone saved my life tonight. Then the backing vocals, someone saved my life tonight. And then it builds and it builds and it builds. Let's listen.
Someone saved my life tonight. Someone saved my life tonight.
We go back to the chorus for an epic finish.
And butterflies are free to fly, fly away.
And then we end with the intro, and it becomes an outro. Right? Someone save, someone save, someone save my life tonight. Someone save, someone save, someone save my life tonight. And just over and over until we fade out. And it's the main message of the song, isn't it? Someone saved my life tonight. Could you imagine being Long John Baldry and hearing this song and realizing that's how he felt about your time with him? I think it's what a gift. Do yourself a favor, go listen to Elton John's performance of Someone Saved My Life Tonight. Listen to it from the Captain Fantastic album, but also listen to the live versions because they're amazing. There's a solo live version you can hear, and there's also a version with the band in Central Park, and they'll both just knock your socks off. Epic, epic rock pop song from the great Elton John, who I'm so grateful is still with us. One of the masters, just out there living his best life now, and happy guy, and every once in a while he writes something new for us. Thank you to the great Elton John. And thank you for watching Aimee Nolte Music. I'll see you next time.